The following is sponsored by
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2017 Sedona International Film Festival. I'm Tanya June Moore, live at the Sedona Rouge. Having you in this seat, I'm with John Paul Dejoria. I'm so honored to have you here.
You're very kind.
And thank you for being here in Sedona with us. I've seen the movie. I think it makes us even a bigger fan of your work and what you're creating in this world for this planet. And I think your social consciousness really is outstanding, and people could really follow you and what you are trending out there for us. So thank you for this.
Very
and thank
welcome.
you for the life that you've lived and cared to share in this movie. So how did Good Fortune come about?
Rebecca and Joss DeCal.
Mm-hmm.
I give them 99% of all the credit. Several years ago, Eloise and I were in Park City, Utah for the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
And he had won the audience award for his film Fuel. Incredible film. We were really impressed by it. We became friends afterwards. And Joss Rebecca had approached me a short time ago and said, JP, you want to do a television series called Good Fortune. It's about goodness, about how you could actually give back, make it interesting, be successful in whatever you might do, but the most important, take care of the planet and the people. I said, God, that sounds really good, and JP, would you be our first episode? Sure. Then one thing led to the other, and all of a sudden we decided, well, let's just make a documentary. And our whole idea was to make a documentary that we could share with the world, where people could see that you could do extremely well financially, you could come from absolutely nothing, be homeless a couple times in your life, and still make it in America. America still works. And we give it to everybody. And our hope was, God, if we could only one time have it on TV, that'd be really cool too. But we got into, to start with the Zurich Film Festival, and we were there. It went over so grand that we were approached at that time to have this one broker have the theatrical rights for Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. And we were, what, theatrical rights? We thought, God, TV once is pretty cool. And then when we came to do another festival in Texas, of course, big one there, in California, the same thing was said to us. We'd be interested in doing a theatrical release. So we said, wow, that's pretty cool. And then after that, do a whole television series that we're working with some people on right now, where I'll be more than likely the moderator, similar to, well, before you were born, we had something here that was called Twilight Zone.
Oh, I watched Twilight Zone.
Did you? Okay.
I remember Twilight Zone when it was on TV. I loved it.
Wow, okay. Do you remember Howdy Doody by any chance?
No, but I do know who Howdy Doody is.
Okay. So anyway, we thought, what a brilliant idea. Where I would maybe come on and we'd bring people on that had what we call the 4 Ps. You would have a positive attitude, a business that made a profit, but you would take care of the planet and the people at the same time. And we're around so many wonderful folks like this that are doing that. We thought, what a brilliant idea. So I would introduce, we'd have the television show going on. I would end it at the very, very end there. And we checked around and people said, the world needs that now. They need a positive message, a positive program. So people would look at something where they're not said, well, you're fired or you're not going to make it. Where here's how you do it. Here's how you overcome adversity. And being a member of the Giving Pledge with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, as well as receiving the Horatio Alger Reward in Washington, D.C., we know so many people that have done that we want to expose to the nation. Are great people, came from nothing, made something out of their lives, but along the way are changing the planet for the better. And in today's society, when you see so much controversy on television, you see so much controversy in the movies, the world needs something that is positive, look after, that it's all about sharing. And I think what we want to leave a message with people is that no matter what you do, success unshared is failure. And success isn't how much money you have. Success is how well you do what you do.
And you really proved that point in your life. I love the whole story of you selling encyclopedias door to door to door to door. I mean, that's a tough job. I've done door to door sales.
Yeah, no appointments, just
you're just knocking. And I used to hate the cold call.
Sure.
But I mean, you learn so much from getting in front of those people
You're right.
and cutting your teeth
You're so right.
And do you feel like that background really is what gave you the tenacity to move forward with your dreams?
It sure was a helping hand. If they still had door-to-door encyclopedia salesmen that sold books with no appointment, all cold calling, I would insist that every one of my biological children do it for at least 3 months after they get out of high school or when they get 20 years old before they looked at anything. It's such a great experience. You really learn a lot. Sometimes I'm asked what are some of the secrets to being successful as an entrepreneur, anything you do. First thing I say, and I relate back to my encyclopedia business, you can relate back to your door-to-door business there, is be prepared for a lot of rejection. The average lifespan of an encyclopedia salesman is 3 days. I lasted 3.5 years. But you learn so much. There's rejection. 50 doors can be closed in your face, but you must be just as enthusiastic on door number 51, and you just don't give up. And also at the same time, I tell people, don't ever be in the selling business. Too many people start out saying, I want a product or a service, I want to sell it. Well, that's the wrong attitude. The attitude should be, I'm going to be in the reorder business. That my product is so good, people want to reorder it. Or my service is so good, they'll want to use it again and again or tell their friends about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Learn that from selling books.
I love the beginning of this movie when they're showing you on Shark Tank.
Yeah, sure.
With this very
Johnny Georges.
He's amazing. I come from a farm family, and so seeing him as salt of the earth, and then you jumping right in there to say you're going to support him. How is that relationship going today since that film has
Excellent. Believe it or not, that Shark Tank was filmed almost 2 years ago. It's been repeated for the last 2 years on television, Shark Tank, 70, 80 times. It's enormous. I was with Johnny just a couple weeks ago, and he's doing very, very well. Ever since we got together, he got out of the field and went to selling the tree teepees, and he's doing good. Johnny's doing really, really good. I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, I love when he gets a little verklempt. You're so proud of him. And I think that really shows through what your spirit really means. You're so connected with the people that you help and the people that you show the way to create something really gorgeous. You were also the first to really go off grid with making products. I didn't realize that the products in Hawaii were there's no wires going into that place. Can you talk a little bit about how that came out?
And that was totally by accident, wanting to survive. When I started John Paul Mitchell Systems, my partner was the hairdresser. I was a businessman. Great guy. Was living in Hawaii at the time. So we said the first monies we get, not knowing how big our company may or may not be, let's buy a little place in Hawaii. You could have your place over there. My place will be over here in this acreage. Let's make it self-sufficient with solar energy. So if this is the best we ever did in our lives, we'd have a place to live forever. Free water, free energy, where it would cost little to nothing to be able to live there. And that's what we did. We bought 23 acres of this beautiful land in Hawaii, and Paul built his house over there. I built my house over there, and everything was into the land. It worked out really, really well. And then we realized that something like this works. So later on, when Paul Mitchell started making a few dollars, and we found avapui on the island of Hawaii, we decided let's process the avapui and dry it with the sun. So we made solar heaters and things of that nature to do with. So we realized that there's a lot that you can do off the land where you don't need something from the outside. And I think we're finding in our society more and more. Look at how much wind energy is going up. Look how much solar energy is going up. And my God, these energy batteries, there's a lot of goodness going on.
Do you think that that's not covered enough? I mean, do you feel like we're just so filled with yellow journalism these days that it's all about the sensationalism? I mean, do you think that there needs to be more like showing people how you can be off grid, you can create entire companies this way? Do you?
Definitely, and we plan to show some of that when the television series comes out, Good Fortune, where there's people that made it that way, that helped the planet out, helped the people out, still made a profit. But you are right. Most of the press is sensationalist. I mean, it's almost where we don't turn on the news anymore. I used to love watching the news at night, late at night, before I go to bed. But every time you turn it on, there's controversy with, who's on TV all the time. It's like, come on, enough is enough, This is just too much. So, people need something different. But we realize also, and this happened in Zurich, when we had the movie in Zurich, the majority of the audience, I want to say 80 or 90%, tears came out of their eyes and they laughed. And several very cool business people came up to us afterwards saying, watching this movie changed my life. I'm going to give back now. Just recently on CNN, I was asked, well, JP, what do you think of Donald Trump? He's a big billionaire. He's talking about how rich he is, but when they finally take out all the information, we believe he's given less than $10,000 a total over the last 5, 6, or 7 or 8 years. I said, well, that's how he believes, but maybe he'll be around enough people right now that'll influence him that success unshared is failure. And if part of your success is money, you get one of the greatest highs doing something for somebody else, asking absolutely nothing in return. And being going through the 1960s, there were a lot of people experienced different ways to be high. But I assure you, doing something for somebody else without asking anything in return gives you a better high than smoking something.
I concur. And the people in the know, I always like to say there's like 20% of the people that are really awake and open and really understand that. But I feel like the other 80% are catching up, hopefully quicker now than
that they are.
slower.
I know over the last few years, in fact, over the last couple of years, I'd go on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, all the different stations. And one time I went on CNN, they had the special and said, JP, we want you to represent the 1% because you're a multi-billionaire. And the other 99%, what do you think of the 99% going after the 1% and the 1% should give more? I said, well, first of all, it's not 99% and 1%. I am the 99%. I've worked all of my life. I've been the most successful janitor you could ever imagine. And I give back. And there's a lot of people like me. Take the Giving Pledge. I believe there's over 150 of us. We're all billionaires. And we've all pledged to give half of our wealth while we're alive or after we die to make the world a better place. Look, people just don't know these things. And there's just so much goodness out there. And more of this going on TV is better. We were approached several years back to do a reality show. They wanted controversy. We said, absolutely not. But it's good for your brand. Nope, our brand is good because we have a philosophy at Paul Mitchell Schools, at Patron, John Paul Petter, other companies, and it's a culture of giving back and helping others out. And we believe the world has to know that. Well, today, when we talk to these producers of the television series and the people who want to promote the movie, they said, your timing couldn't be any better. Boy, does our nation, the world, need good news and how to do something for somebody, not just how to take away. And I'm better than thou because I could do anything I want. That's a crock of baloney.
Yes, I agree.
Easier way for the press to read that one across.
And social media today is really connecting people, and I've noticed people are moving away from watching this mainstream. They're moving away from watching the sensationalized news that's completely different on every channel that you look at. And more people are looking for this, and they really want to see that we're succeeding as America again, instead of failing as a once really prosperous nation. What inspires you most to do this work?
Well, I think because I started out with so little in my life, for starters. I mean, I was so low that I love to use this expression. I've been down so low in my life at times I'd look up and an ant would be crawling over me. It was really, really low. But no, it's a very good question. When I was 6 years old, it was my brother, my mother, and I. We had a deadbeat dad, and he was gone before I was 2. So we lived just as the three of us in downtown L.A. We didn't have any money. And at Christmas time, my mom would take us to downtown L.A. In all the big windows, they had little, snowmen, and they had little puppets and trains going around the street. It was really cool. We thought we were cool kids. And my mom, and I was 6 years old at the time, gave my brother and I a dime and said, boys, each of you hold half of this dime and walk it over to the fellow with the bucket ringing the bell. We didn't put the dime in there, and we did. And we went back to our mom. We said, Mom, why do we give them a dime? Because in those days, this is the early 1950s now, okay?
Time's a lot.
It was 2 big soda pops, a nickel each. That's a dime, or 3 candy bars. She said, boys, that's people called the Salvation Army. And there are people that don't have any houses, they don't have any food. They help them out. She says, boys, we could only afford a dime this year. That's all we could afford. But we want to give something. And always remember in life that there's always people that need it way more than you do. And if you could even give a dime or a penny or give your time to do something for them, it's the way to go in life. And I never forgot that.
So beautiful. What is it about your time is worth so much? Our time on this planet
goes by pretty quick, huh?
I think what you do and what you give to people is so much more than what you expect and what I expected. How do you put a value on your time?
When you have time, and to me, time is my most valuable resource. It's what do I do? You might say the greatest good for the greatest number. Now, whether it's helping, thousands of families in Appalachia feed themselves,
Yes.
take thousands of homeless and get them back to work. In foreign countries, take people in Africa that are, their parents have died of AIDS. Nobody wants them. We have a program there going Food for Africa. They're all 1 day old to 12 years old. And we feed them, we clothe them, we shelter them, we take good care of them. Nobody wants them.
Right.
Between the Paul Mitchell schools and ourselves, we take care of 7,000 orphans every single day. Now, you can imagine, this is Africa. We take them from zero when they're born to 12 years old, anyone in
Yeah.
that age group. So can you imagine at 12 or 13 years old, these terrorists coming in and saying, hey, we want you to join us. We're going to kill the Western world. We're going to kill the Christians. Our fundamentalism is the only way to go. Let's kill everybody else. These kids are going to say, well, wait a minute. When nobody want me, there's some people from the United States and some kids at Paul Mitchell schools that sent over people, money, everything to take care of us. Where were you? They're the bad guys? I'm not going to shoot these guys.
Right.
So it's a way of creating peace and tranquility on our planet as well as helping our own nation out. Now, will the people that are homeless that we get jobs for, or the people in Mexico we give a helping hand to, or the people in Africa, will they be my customer right now? Probably not. But we'll help them, giving them a helping hand to get to the next level in life, and who knows, maybe 2% may become a customer eventually, but if not, they're going to be a customer for everybody else. Bill Gates sent me a little report with the Gates Foundation.
Yes.
And I said, go, Bill, and go all you guys, okay? Pointed out that a lot of people are not aware of this. They talk about on TV, you have the upper 1%, which it's we the people making all this money, and the bottom 1%, there's a big separation. What they never talk about is the bottom 1% do better now than they ever did before. They don't talk about that at all. And unfortunately, political, they try and separate people. But isn't it the American dream? I thought so and believed it, that we all have a shot of doing well and owning our own home. And maybe some of us became a millionaire and some became billionaires. But if we did, we give back and it makes us super. I thought that was the American dream. So when you have these, no disrespect, these stupid politicians saying, the 1%, let's cream them, give it all to the other 90. That's not, what are you going to do, get rid of the American dream?
Right.
Come on.
How do you
Give us a break.
How do you choose? I mean, how can you pick who to help and who to not? Is it pulling on your heartstrings? I mean, what's your process?
We have helped out way over 100 different organizations, let us say. We can't do it all. But along the way, something comes, whether it's a sea shepherd saving sea life, which a lot of people don't want to do, but they don't realize when the oceans go, mankind goes. The homeless, a lot of people, they're homeless, that's their fault. A lot of them can't help it. Some are sad stories. Some have mental challenges. But if we don't help them out, who's going to? If you don't help them out and others become homeless and they're not helped out, all of a sudden we have a population that everybody's going to be supporting that isn't doing anything. And look at the labor force.
Yes.
Where's our labor force? You're in one of the most beautiful places on the planet, Sedona. Talk about the frequency rising. The frequency on this planet is rising, and I can't explain why, but it is. You're in a place where we got off the plane and this whole thing's got to be a vortex. You can't just have little areas. This place just is too cool. But let's look at people and employment. In your area, you guys do have a challenge, and that is you can't get enough people to work in some of your hotels. We learned that today.
Yes.
Because there's no place for them to live or not enough people that will come in here.
Right. Or the rent's too high. Or
rent's too high, whatever. So you figure out ways around that. In Park City, Utah, we figured out a way. Eloise and I had a piece of land there, and we decided that instead of building a nice apartment complex or a big house, it's right in the middle of town, we're going to build affordable housing. So we built this complex so that the workers there could have a place to live that they could afford and be in town and walk to work, not have to drive 30 miles and use gasoline in cars and, waste a lot of money to get to their jobs that some of them only pay minimum wage. So the more and more people see what others are doing, I think it influences them, like some of the people we did, whether it's in the United States or when we were in Zurich for that major festival there, where people realize, wow, this should be done. I mean, this should be done. And that success unshared is failure.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how I measure it. the end results of what we do, how many people do we help out? Like, if there's a community that needs food, I may go in eventually and, give them something to eat right away so they don't starve. But I will put a program in where they can now start feeding themselves, like Grow Appalachia. We are inundated with people wanting help. We can't help them all out. In fact, now we're just so over-inundated, it's unreal. But we've done what we can and continue with the projects that we have right now.
And I think I speak for everybody saying thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Everybody in here has a question for you. So
Sure.
I don't want to hog your time.
No, please.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Sedona. And let me, you demonstrate spiritual qualities of selflessness, and kindness, and compassion. And I think it's sort of unusual. There's people out there that do that, but that involves going inward too.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, did you go inward and adopt some type of spiritual concept, or was it just a natural process that you went inward and you really saw the truth of the universe?
Yeah. I think I was just really blessed with a great mom, and that I had this extra energy in my life. Just really, really blessed with that one. But I think more in, let's say, the last 5 or 10 years, the value of the spiritual part really came out. I'll give you one quick example if I can, not talk up all the time. But it's like when I wake up in the morning, we do what everyone does. You go to the bathroom usually first. Then I'll usually go back to bed and stay there for a few minutes and try and just be. Now, that's hard to do because everything's running through your head, what you're going to do, what the day's all about. But I normally say to myself, creator of souls, please show me the truth and thank you for all the goodness you've given me, and try and just be. Now, how do you clear your mind? Well, sometimes I have to look at the wall. I got to see, I look at the bed, okay, here's where I am, and then try and clear my mind with no thought. Mm-hmm. And then only for a few minutes, and I try and start my day. And it just makes something feel good inside. It's like in your beautiful city. You just walk out the door. And just in the presence you are. I mean, how can you help but not clear your mind? You have this beautiful view around you, beautiful rocks, and whatever energy you have, it clears your head a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's pretty cool.
And this air here is pretty awesome.
Yeah, delicious.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Your legacy, 50 to 60 years from now, what do you want people to most remember about you?
How the heck is this guy still working? He's 100 some odd years old. How are he's doing it? But seriously, the legacy would be that when he was on this planet Earth, the rent he paid was pretty good. He did a lot of good for millions of people on this planet, not asking anything in return. And he was just so happy of what he had, that what he was blessed with, that he didn't mind sharing it at all. And that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yes.
Over here.
Oh, sorry.
Hi. You and your film are truly inspiring, and I love your motto that success unshared is failure. My question for you is, how do you balance profit and philanthropy? You kind of touched on it, but as someone with a generous heart, do you ever feel like it's kind of excessive in one way or another, or do you feel like you can never give enough?
Many times you just can't do enough. Just can't do enough many times. And again, as I say, we involve in over 100 things, maybe even approaching 200 by now. I don't know. And, I get a lot of letters. But then after a while, you get some letters that you wonder, well, wait a minute. Where did this come from? I never forget, a few years ago, I got a letter from a gentleman saying, I have a $2 million mortgage on my home. I'd love to pay it off because I ran into some financial difficulties. Will you please loan me $2 million and I'll pay you off sometime in the future? What are you are you nuts? Another girl sent me her picture saying, I've always wanted to be a millionaire. Will you send me $1 million? Another one that I got must have been a form letter because it looked like it was handwritten but duplicated, right? And it was, my mother's dying, my children lost their feet. I mean, a story only somebody can make up, right? And then you could tell where they wrote my name in with one pen. It was like, wait a minute. So some people take advantage, but we overlook that. What we like to do, and I have a great director of my Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation. We have JP's Family Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation, where the things we are involved in, she checks them out to make sure that people are following through and that some of these things are real. And God, for a long time now, we had to stop because we were inundated. But tell people nicely, really, really sorry, but we're fully inundated right now, with things to do.
Mm. Yes.
Thank you for so much that you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Welcome.
As the people on the planet. Knowing part of your story, you've been from one end of the spectrum to the other. And as a conscious entrepreneur myself and helping other conscious entrepreneurs, there can be a lot of struggle in there.
Lot.
Was there a pivotal point or an aha or a key lesson that you can share that kind of took you over to, the other side of the fence, from struggle to, oh my God, I'm getting it?
Yeah.
The win.
Yeah, there were several in my life. The last one that really sticks out while you were asking that question was in 1980 when I started John Paul Mitchell Systems. The backer pulled out. I had a few $100s in my pocket. My partner came over from Hawaii. He had a few $100s in his pocket. He had to get back, and the backer never came out. There was no money, and I left what I was doing, left all the money with my relationship at the time, so they'd be fine for months, a newer car, and it was that, oh my God. So I went to my mom, too proud to tell her, Mom, can I have my room back? Will you feed me? I just said, Mom, can I borrow $350? She says, why? You're doing really well. And I was doing well before that time. I just stopped everything. And I said, Mom, I'll give it back to you. And then I got in my car and I said, where am I going to sleep? This has got to last me a long time. So I ended up sleeping in my car. After 2 weeks of sleeping in my car and living off $2.25 to $2.50 a day and getting a business going on 30-day credit for everything and promises, I made it. I made that, hey, this is working. This is working. And then this lovely lady named Joanna Pettit came by and knocked on my window in the morning. She knew where I was parked, said, I can't believe, John Paul, you're actually sleeping in your car. What happened? I told her. She said, I'm going to give you a room to stay in for a couple of months in my house. It's okay. You owe me nothing. Let me give you a helping hand. So during all that was, yeah, you can make it with nothing if you believe in yourself. And there are other people out there that might do something nice for you. So that was like wow, that was pretty good. But the biggest aha was we were about 2 years old and we made it. We actually paid our bills on time. Didn't pay them off, but for the first time in our 2 years, we paid them off. And we had a couple $1,000s left each that we could give ourselves. That was, we made it. It really, really works. No matter what adversity you come from, there's salvation on the other end. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Hi. How can we inspire other companies to adopt a more socially conscious business model or philosophy similar to yours?
They should start out the way we do with our culture. In fact, at John Paul Mitchell Systems, we actually have a corporate ambassador of culture. That's all they do. And that's when you start your business, think about how do you start it? And while you're starting, your culture is giving back. You don't have to have money to do it. You volunteer for an hour or two. The rest of you do the same thing. That's how you do it. You start out thinking that way. If you're not doing it right now, convert it. A lot of people, for example, have big businesses. They make a lot of money. I've worked for companies before where I had $1 in my hand, and I had to get lunch. That's all I had, was just $1. Can't buy much for $1. So I knew that when we started Paul Mitchell, and now it's with all my companies, that lunchtime, it's free lunch as soon as we could afford it. You always get free lunch. You pick out whatever you want. It's like even in Mexico, if you work on my night shift, you get chefs making you free dinner. So you got to start it. If you don't have any money, use your time. And then when you start making some money, give back to your own people a little bit. It's not that hard. And be influenced. I think, people watch TV, people smoking cigarettes, doing drugs, being mean to other people, shooting them up, whatever. Well, I think if they saw a lot of TV, or like whether it's this movie or television series we're going to do, where it's all about, it's cool to give back, it's fun to give back, it's exciting to give back. You change the consciousness of the world. The more people do it, the more it happens.
And it feels so much better.
We all do it. The more people, they learn from it. It feels so good.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
I know there's a question in the back of the room. Hang on. Ben, can you please ask your question? You wanted me to make sure.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to the mindset of success, many different people define success in different ways.
Sure.
Some people are successful entrepreneurially. Some people just want to have a good family. Some people try to get off of drugs.
Mhm.
How do you overcome the self-doubt and the failures and the fear of failures? And what did you do when you came to that point in your life to overcome those?
Many times in my life. And it started back probably selling encyclopedias door to door. You're rejected, you're rejected, you're rejected. You don't give up. You're just as enthusiastic. And you've also got to know this, and it's just the truth. If you're down and out, as low as you could go, you could only go up. You could only go up. You could only go up. So people have to know it's happened for other people, even homeless people, and it could happen for them. That's why I'm very excited about this movie and getting it out. And once it goes through, I guess, the theatrical release and the DVD or pay-per-views, whatever, and we get it back in our hands, well, this TV series is going to go on, and we hope it goes the way we would like without controversy. And we're all done with that. I'm going to give those away to everyone I could find in every single country throughout the United States, every grammar school, every high school, every boys and girls club, so they can see that you can come from nothing. A couple of times in your life, and you can overcome adversity, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. But the other half of your question is, what is success? Everything you mentioned, whether it's being a good parent, whether it's, having a job, those are all successful. If you do whatever you do as well as you could do it, maybe not as good as the next guy, but as well as you could do it, you're successful.
Mm-hmm.
And keep on doing it that way when no one else is looking.
Yes, that's integrity. Well, we're out of time.
I think this gentleman had one question here, please.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Hi there. Considering everything you've done in your lifetime, how difficult was it for the filmmakers to condense everything into 90 minutes? And did you have a final say in what went in there?
They are geniuses. And there's a lot of stuff they couldn't quite put in, but maybe we'll do a sequel in a few years. They are geniuses. That's all I got to say. The job they did on that as a documentary, where all of a sudden people now want to release this, that can release, was just very exciting. So I would say it's up to them. Of course, I had some input, but it's 99% them. They had it together. They talked to the people. They did the interviews, and they're just brilliant. They're some of the most brilliant directors and producers probably on the planet, and nice people.
Okay, one more because we got to
Yes.
get him to the movie.
And this is really quick.
Yes, ma'am.
And it has to do with your tequila. I love the name being Patron.
Yes.
You remove that accent and it's patron. And I
Yes.
think you embody both of those words. Because as a patron, you're the boss.
Mhm.
You're in charge.
Yep.
As a patron, you make everything happen.
Mhm.
And how did you come up with the name Patron?
Well, I've got to give the credit to Martin Crowley, who is a gentleman that started Patron with me. He's been deceased now for quite a few years. But we were looking for the right name to use. And then Patron popped up. I said, boy, Martin, that'd be a great name. How do we get it? Martin applied for it. Nobody ever applied for it. We were totally amazed. We found one company in Mexico that was the reserve of the Patron. Well, we bought that. We bought it out from them. We gave money for that one. They were just one of those lucky things. Lucky. But we wanted, because for us, Patron is a good boss.
Yes, it
In
is.
fact, we had a
Of
ranch
course,
called
yeah.
Patron de Paz, right? It's a good boss of peace. So we figure it's a good boss. And as you say, a patron. You give back, you lead, but you lead in a good way.
Yes. And that's you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being
Peace,
here.
love, and happiness to all you
Peace, love, and
people.
happiness, man. We really,
You're
this is the
beautiful.
place.
You're
Thank
my
you.
people, and I'm your people.
We're the tribe mates.
Yay, baby.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
The
Thank
Sedona
you very
International
much.
Film Festival going out with a bang in 2017. How does it get any better than this?
Thank you.